It had been one of those days, the kind that settles deep into your spine and wraps itself around your shoulders. Marissa Clark wasn't one to complain, though. She'd started her morning with property walkthroughs in Savannah, then sat through a marathon of meetings with her regional team, and finally drove 2 hours north to Charleston. She hadn't announced this final stop, an impromptu inspection of the newest hotel in her portfolio. That was how she liked to do things. No fanfare, no advanced warning, just authenticity. Marissa didn't look like a CEO. She wore no heels, no tailored suit, just black sneakers, fitted jeans, and a slate gray hoodie zipped up halfway. Her curls were pulled into a low puff, and her face was makeup-free, showing the fatigue around her eyes. She walked into the lobby of the Chancellor Hotel on King Street and took in the elegant interior. Glass light fixtures, velvet seating, and a curated gallery wall capturing Charleston's history. Everything appeared pristine and professional. Behind the front desk stood a young man, early 20s, light brown hair, and a pressed button-down shirt. He barely acknowledged her. "Hi," she said politely. "I have a reservation." "Clark." He gave her a once-over, his eyes returning to the screen. "First name, Marissa." Click. "Top." He scanned the system, then shook his head. "Nothing under that name." "Try M." "Charles," she said. "It's under a corporate block. Should be a suite on the executive level." He typed again, frowning. "There's an M. Charles here, but I don't think that's you." She tilted her head. "What makes you say that?" He hesitated, lowering his voice. "That reservation's for someone from corporate." Marissa gave a tight smile. "That would be me." He blinked. "You're from corporate?" "I'm the CEO." Before she could explain further, he cut her off. "Let me get my manager." He turned without waiting for a response. Marissa noticed a couple seated nearby glance over. This wasn't unfamiliar. A woman in her 40s appeared from the back office, clipboard in hand, wearing burgundy slacks and a fitted blouse. She approached with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Ma'am, I understand you're trying to check into a corporate suite?" "Not trying," Marissa said gently. "I'm checking in. Reservation is under M. Charles." "I approved it myself." The manager crossed her arms. "And who are you with?" "Clark Heritage Group," Marissa said, her patience waning. "I'm the CEO." The woman lifted a brow. "Do you have any ID?" Marissa produced her driver's license and business card. The manager studied them, but still looked unconvinced. "You just don't look like a CEO," she said finally. There it was. Marissa said nothing, just raised an eyebrow. "Let me double-check a few things," the manager said. "Would you mind waiting by the window?" "I'll wait right here," Marissa replied calmly. A security guard began walking over, posture rigid. He looked at her with thinly veiled suspicion. "You need something, ma'am?" "Just waiting for the manager to verify my reservation," Marissa said. The clerk raised his voice. "She says she's the CEO." The guard tensed, one hand resting near his belt. Marissa remained composed. "Is there a reason I'm being confronted by security for trying to check into a room?" she asked. The manager returned holding a phone and a printed sheet. "MS. Clark, I see your name connected to the group," she said. "But without advance notice or documentation, I can't release the suite. Are you implying I forged my own reservation?" "No, I just mean protocol matters." "Protocol or perception?" Marissa asked. "Because it seems like I didn't fit your image of a CEO." The manager said nothing. Marissa exhaled slowly. "This is my hotel. My company built it. I trained the staff. That suite is part of an internal evaluation." The room fell silent. "I'd still like to confirm with corporate," the manager said. "Then call," Marissa said. "And when you do, ask what happens when a senior executive is disrespected during an inspection." The manager hesitated. "I'll wait here," Marissa said. The guard stepped closer. "Ma'am, maybe you could step outside." Marissa looked him dead in the eye. "Do you mean outside this lobby or outside my own hotel?" He faltered. Marissa picked up her bag. "Fine. I'll step outside." "Outside." She pulled out her phone. "One call." "Alyssa," she said. "Have William call the Chancellor's front desk. Internal line. Now." Inside, the manager was on the phone. "Hi, this is Melanie Prescott, assistant manager." I'm verifying a walk-in claiming to be Marissa Clark. The voice on the other end cut in. Did you say Marissa Clark? The Marissa Clark? Yes, she says she's the CEO. You mean the name on your pay stub? The voice replied. Put me on speaker. Melanie did as told. This is William Downs, VP of Operations. Who am I speaking with? Melanie. Assistant manager, she replied, voice shaking. Why is the CEO outside her own property being questioned by security? I wasn't sure it was her. Did she yell? No. Threaten anyone? No. Did she provide ID? Yes. Then go outside, apologize, and pray she doesn't make this your last day. Melanie froze. Yes, sir. She stepped outside. MS. Clark, I sincerely apologize. Your suite is ready. You confirmed with William? Yes, ma'am. Marissa laughed quietly. Funny how 10 minutes ago, I was just a woman in a hoodie. No excuses, Marissa continued. Just accountability. She walked back inside. Julian Reese, Senior Operations Director, arrived moments later. Mid-40s, sharp suit, presence like steel. Marissa, he said. You all right? They're learning, she said. He nodded. Let's make it a lesson they won't forget. He turned to the clerk. Name? Kevin. Did you read the company-wide memo 2 weeks ago? Julian asked. He slid a printout across the counter. Unannounced inspections. Ring a bell. Melanie blanched. She'd seen it. She just didn't connect the name. Julian turned to the room. You had one job. Treat everyone with respect. Marissa added, I didn't ask for special treatment. Just the same courtesy every guest deserves. From the corner, the guard stood in silence. Kendra Hughes, Regional HR, walked in next. USB in hand. Got the footage, she said. Audio too. It's bad. She turned to Melanie and Kevin. Office. Now. Kendra added, tell the truth. Cameras already did. Marissa sat down nearby. Julian asked, you good? Just tired of the same script, she said. They judged the cover. Never read the story. Kendra returned later. Mandatory training starts today. Kevin's on probation. We're reviewing Melanie's role. Marissa stood. Remind every manager, bias is liability. Judging the wrong guest might cost more than reputation. Word spread fast. Every Clark Heritage property got the same message. 7 a.m. Call. Mandatory. If it happened to her, it can happen to your guests, William told them. Lead with respect or leave. Later, Marissa held a staff meeting. No formalities. Just honesty. I'm Marissa Clark, she said. Yesterday, I came to see the real experience. What I got was judgment. Not disappointment. Not anger. Judgment. An older housekeeper, name tag reading Elaine, raised a hand. I've worked here since we opened. I always said, whoever built this place cared. We can feel it in how we're trained. I'm sorry they treated you like that. Marissa nodded. Thank you. That's why I'm still here. So the good doesn't get buried by bad habits. Pamela sat rigid. I want to do better, she said quietly. We'll see, Marissa replied. The story spread. Staff TikToks went viral. News outlets picked it up. Headline, Black CEO denied room in her own hotel, responds with grace, delivers reckoning. Marissa didn't speak to the media. She didn't need to. Her presence spoke for her. On her last day, she stood at the hotel's entrance, looking at the plaque she approved months ago. Marissa Clark, founder and CEO, in honor of every guest who deserves to feel welcome. A guest walking by paused. You her. She smiled. Yeah, that's me. Didn't expect it, he said. Most don't. Hell of a hotel. That's the goal. Julian joined her. Think they'll remember? He asked. She looked away from the plaque. I don't care if they remember me. I care if they remember what happened. He nodded. They turned toward the exit. Behind the desk, a young black woman looked up and gave a nod. Marissa returned it with a quiet smile. This time, no one questioned if she belonged. Because she did. And now they knew it too.